Hey, what's up? My name is Tyson Brown and I want to welcome you to Tyson's Fitness Tips podcast. This is Australia's top health and fitness podcast to help you lose weight, look good with your shirt off, feel confident in your body, and finally achieve the goals you want with your health and fitness. So 5 days a week, I'm going to be giving you top information from myself and also from leading experts in the field so you know everything you need to do to get in the best shape of your life. From nutrition to mindset to workout, everything is covered in this podcast and you need to go nowhere else. So like I said, it's going to be 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, in your ears with quick actionable segments that you can implement straight away, because the most important thing is that you can put these things into play. Also, if you listen all the way to the end of the episode, you're going to get 2 special gifts that you can download upon listening to it. So make sure you listen all the way to the end to get those free gifts, okay? So let's get into the episode. Good morning. Thought I'd tell you a quick story before I get into it today. Recently, I had decided to start trying to quote-unquote bulk again, gain some muscle mass, but I want to do it in a new, different way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have certain measurements that I'm going to track, and I've been doing it for a while now. So basically I thought, you know what? I want to make sure this bulk is doing it the right way. So what I need to do is I need to make sure that every single day I'm going to be measuring certain things that are going to produce the outcome I want. So you've got to look at this in regards to how you can do this for your own life, because if you're trying to lose fat or if you're trying to gain muscle or whatever outcome you want for your health, you've got to have measurements in place to know if you're on the right track. Because I'll get a lot of guys coming to me saying, I feel like I've plateaued, I feel like I'm not making any progress. But how the fuck are you supposed to know if you're not making any progress if you aren't tracking anything? Especially if it's just the scale. Like if you're just using the scale by itself, you're really doing yourself a disservice, because there are so many other ways that you can track. And I want to talk to you about that today, like how to know if you're actually making progress. So let's think about this. Like I'll explain what I'm doing at the moment. And I actually got this from another guy named Jamie Alderton from Grenade Fit. I really recommend that you follow him. Basically, I do most of this with my clients anyways, but there are certain things that I don't do. So for this weight gaining period, this bulking period, there are certain things I'm tracking. Steps, calories and macronutrients, and my weight, and my adherence to exercise, okay? So they're the things and my measurements. So they're the things that I'm going to be tracking. Now, let's break down each of those type of things. So the first thing I'm going to be tracking is my steps. Now, the way I track my steps is with my Oura Ring. If you don't have an Oura Ring, you have a Fitbit. If you don't have a Fitbit, go and get one, or get a fitness tracker, something that's going to measure your steps on a daily basis, because steps, like movement, activity, can be a variable to help you on your fat loss phase or your weight gain phase, whatever it's going to be. And you need to be able to track how many steps you're doing on a weekly basis, okay? So daily is still important, but if we had a look, like 1 week you did 20,000 steps, which is like, what, 2,500 steps a day? Let's say you did 20,000 steps. But then the next week you did 70,000 steps, like that's an extra 50,000 steps, and you've burnt a lot more calories in that time. And so when you can track that and you're like, oh wow, why did my weight drastically fluctuate so differently? Being able to have that as a measurement and a metric is really important, because then you're going to be able to figure out, oh, okay, so when I walk more, when I'm more active, I'm going to be able to lose more weight. But it also will be able to answer the question is like, okay, why didn't I lose this weight this week if one of my other measurements, macros, were on point? Like what's going on there? And it's simply because you didn't move as much. So these things are going to come into place. So number one, tracking the steps. Knowing how many steps you're taking on a daily, but more importantly, a weekly basis. And that way you've kind of got that ground rule to go, okay, on average I'm taking 70,000 steps, 10,000 steps a day or whatever it's going to be. Number two is your calories and macros. You know this, I talk about this a lot, but still being able to track that on a daily basis. How many calories you're eating, how much protein are you eating, how much fat are you eating, how many carbohydrates are you eating? Because this is also going to affect how your weight fluctuates from day to day. On a day you have more carbohydrates than usual, guess what's going to happen? Your weight's going to go up because you're holding more water. Not because you gained fat, but simply because you're holding more water than usual. So just having that in mind and being like, oh, okay, my weight's fluctuated. Or if it's gone over, like if you're like, oh, I didn't lose weight this week, what happened? Did you track all of your calories? Use that as a metric. Yes, all my calories are on track. Or no, I did overeat, or I forgot to log this food, or I forgot to log this nibble, because a lot of you, including myself, we don't track every single thing we put in our mouth. And when you forget, when you have that little nibble, when you have that bite, when you have that little piece of cake and you think, oh, it doesn't count, it definitely counts. So make sure you're tracking all of your calories and all of your macronutrients. After that, you've got your scale weight, of course, which you're probably already doing. If you're not weighing yourself daily, you should do it. It doesn't have to be every single day, 3 or 4 times a week is good, but you want to get a running average. One day is not enough to get a running average of what your weight is. You need to make sure that you have certain things in place where you're like, okay, I'm going to be tracking 3 days or 4 days a week. So like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, whatever it's going to be, weigh yourself constantly to know if the scale's going up and going down. And then you've got measurements. So if you're trying to lose fat, the best place to measure is the waist and the hips, just to find out, is it going down or is it going up? And the same thing's going to be going for me. Now I'm going to be doing arm measurements and stuff like that too, but I want to make sure that waist isn't going up, so I need to keep a good eye on that track and just see how I'm going on a basis. So tracking your measurements, waist, hips, arms, shoulders, whatever you want to track. But like, make sure if you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to gain muscle, that you are tracking those things on a weekly basis. So, you know, on a Sunday or a Saturday or a Friday or a Monday, whatever you want to do, make it a weekly check-in to do those measurements. And then finally, we are going to be talking about your photos. So progress photos too. All of these things add up, because over a day, over a week, you're not going to see a big result. But when you can watch that trend, that's what's going to give you the best results possible. That's what's going to give you like a logical, okay, you're either making progress or you're not making progress. Because if you think you're at a plateau and you're not taking measurements and you're not doing all those things and you're not weighing yourself, you're not tracking your macros, you're not tracking your steps, you're not taking photos, how the fuck are you really supposed to know if you're at a plateau? Most people, they think they are when they have no idea. Now, there are other ways you can also track things too, like how are your workouts feeling? Are you feeling tired? Are you know, those things. There are a lot of other things you can be tracking, but start off with the basic stuff that's going to give you the feedback, okay? So when you do that and you have that direct feedback, that's when you can start making adjustments. And the more measurements you can take, like there's a point where it becomes obsessive, but the more measurements you can take, the more objective you can look at your progress and see if it's actually, are you actually progressing or you're not. So, you know, like if I took my weight versus if I just took my, like, you know, if I took my weight a couple of times a day, it's like, oh, I mean, a couple of times a week, you're not really gonna know much. But if you took your weight and your measurements and your photos and your macronutrients and your steps, like how much more in line are you going to be? And you're going to be able to see what's out of whack and what's not out of whack. So you can be like, okay, shit, my macros were out of whack this week, no wonder I didn't lose weight. Or you can be like, oh wow, everything seems to be on point and I can see the trend going down over time. So being able to do that, being able to just logically look at it and be like, okay, this is the results I'm getting from what's being put in at the moment. Now I can change, because you've got variables too. You can change how many steps you can do. You can change your macronutrients. Those two things can be changed. You can change your workout routine. You can change your steps, you know, you can change those things. They're gonna make big differences for you. And then you can track the next week. So if you're like, okay, I've tracked for 2 weeks and my measurements haven't moved. So then do you want to increase your steps? Do you want to change your macronutrients? Like, it's really up to you what you want to do. But being able to make those small adjustments to the outcome that you've gotten and being like, okay, now we're going to track. Because like, let's say if you're doing 70,000 steps, which is 10,000 a day, and you increase it, let's say by an extra 2,000 a day, okay? So you're doing 12,000 steps. So now that's an extra 14,000, that's an extra 14,000 steps you just added into your week. Maybe that extra movement, maybe that extra 14,000 steps is all you needed to make that little bit of fat loss. Or maybe you just were eating a little bit too many macros, so you change your macronutrients. And that's how you can see if you're actually progressing over time, by having all of those things, because what gets measured gets managed. So for me, waist, body measurements, your weight, your steps, your macronutrients, your photos, 5 things. 5 things that are going to either help keep you on the right track and to know if you're progressing, and it's as simple as that. What gets measured gets managed, and if you want results, if this is important to you, you need to track these variables. Even if it's not important to you, if you're just like, fuck, I just want to do it because, I don't know, as much as I hate it, like I just need to lose weight or whatever it is, like measuring it is going to be so much more easier. So I hope that was a quick, cool tip for you on the way to work today. It's Thursday, I got one more day left, so comment the questions out below, I'll reply. And yeah, start tracking. Get on track right now, start doing something. Even if you've only done one thing, add a second thing in, okay? So that's the video, I hope it was informative. I'll speak to you next time. Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast. I really appreciate it. So now you've listened all the way to the end. That means you get some free goodies. So what you can do is you've got 2 different options, or you can take them both. I've got an intermittent fasting cheat sheet and a high protein 20 recipe meal guide designed specifically for you in your situation. These meal plans and this intermittent fasting guide is designed to help you burn stubborn belly fat and get in the best shape of your life. So all you have to do is go to the show notes, click on the download link, and they'll get sent straight to your email address. It's as simple as that. They're completely free. They're going to help you transform your body. So go to the show notes now and download your free guide, and I'll speak to you in the next episode.